Welcome everyone. The time is 7:02 and I'd like to call this District 204 regular action meeting to order. Marilyn, will you please call the roll?
Member Alvarez?
Present.
Member Vita Daniels?
Present.
Member Dillon?
Here.
Member Gretsch?
Here.
Member Nava?
Here.
Member Thomas?
Here.
All right. I ask everyone to rise and participate in the Pledge of Allegiance.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. All right. So we have a request from a board member to participate remotely due to a work-related conflict. May I please have a motion to approve board member Alvia Nava to participate via phone conference due to a work-related conflict?
So moved. Second?
Great. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, great. All right. Now, is there a motion to approve the agenda as presented?
So moved.
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay, motion passes. All right, and then our next item is public participation. So once again, thank you all for joining us tonight. As is the case with all our meetings, there are two opportunities for the public to share their comments with the Board of Ed, one now and one before we adjourn the meeting. For our first public comment session, we'll be listening to comments from those audience members who signed up to speak before the start of our meeting. After we finish our agenda items tonight, we'll open up our second public comment session and we'll hear comments and feedback from anyone who'd like to comment after hearing the board's discussion and information shared this evening. If you'd like to participate in the second public comment session, please fill out a form during our meeting and give it to Marilyn Moscalino, who will be either near the door or just outside the room, and we will call speakers in the order in which forms are turned in. The board appreciates and values hearing comments from our community. Please understand that the board does not engage in dialogue or discussion during our meeting. If there's a specific question or comment that requires follow-up, the appropriate administrator will respond at a later time. Finally, each individual addressing the board will have 3 minutes for their comments, and we appreciate your cooperation in keeping to this time limit. In accordance with board policies 2230 and 830, we thank you for keeping tonight's meeting respectful and civil for all in attendance. Marilyn, will you please call our first speaker?
Becky Lawrenson.
Thank you, Board. I'm here tonight. I'm Becky Lorenzen from LaGrange, from Community Diversity Group. And some of you already know about this, but I wanted to let everybody know that the Community Diversity Group is privileged to be able to offer a Introduction to Anti-Racism workshop, which is coming up this Friday. And we limited participation because we've invited and we have participants from a wide range of organizations. So we only have 2 people from Lyons Township who are coming, Dr. Waterman and Carrie Dillon. And I wanted to open it up. I know it's short notice, but if anybody, any board member or any senior leadership person is able to attend an all-day workshop on this coming Friday from 9 to 5, I'll pass around an email. You can email lagrangediversity@gmail.com. The email's got that on there, and you can just stamp a picture of it and send me an email, and I'll send you a link to register. We do need to know, like, within the next 24 hours if you're able to come or not, because we have it's free lunch, contributions if you want to help offset that. But basically, we've invited, through our relationships with people in the community, and we have attending the Village of LaGrange president and the village manager and the HR person and board members and the Park District board members and executive director, the library, the police chief and the fire chief, from all over the community. And the objective is to take a deeper dive into anti-racism and see what else we can do to make our community more welcoming. So I'll pass this around. I only have 1 copy, but stamp a picture or email lagrangediversity@gmail.com, and we can accept a couple more people, and we'd love to have you if you're available. Thank you.
Thank you.
Andrew?
Hello, everyone. It has been a busy 2 weeks since returning from spring break. This time of year always feels a little more hectic since we know the end of the school year is near and we still have many things to cover with our students. On Wednesday, the teachers participated in the Instructional Sharing Symposium hosted by the instructional coaches. The teachers got to share their experiences and thoughts about the strategies introduced by the instructional coaches for PLCs. It was a great way to interact with teachers from different divisions and share experiences. This does not happen nearly enough. Today we wrapped up our testing. Thank you to everyone who was involved in that process. It is a team effort and I appreciate everyone's contribution. I know there is proposed changes to next year's school calendar. I appreciate Dr. Waterman seeking the teachers' input and the LTA supports the changes. There are a few upcoming events at LT that I encourage everyone to attend. The Spring Art Show is currently being held at South Campus in the Vita Plenum Room. The art students get to show off their amazing work, and as usual, the art does not disappoint. The Eurythmics Dance Company will have their annual performance at Reber Center May 2nd to the 4th. This is always the event of the spring to attend. And finally, the 11th annual car show will be held May 18th. Thank you to all the teachers and students who put on these fantastic events. Finally, I'd like to recognize a few outstanding teachers. Congratulations to the Menagerie Advisors, Joseph Maffey, Mary Wildcheck, Angela Gutierrez, and the Tabula Advisors, Joseph Maffey and Jessica Ressler. Many students won awards on a national conference that they recently attended. Congratulations to the math team and their advisor, Jennifer Sesniak, Jim Mashar, Alex Wojcik, Chuck Witt, and Laura Van Winkle. The math team finished 15th in the state. Congratulations to the chess team advisors, Michael Bodenhagen and Zainab Neely, for the chess team competing in the U.S. Chess Federation High School Championship. That's a mouthful right there. Congratulations to Lisa Plichta and the other Spanish teachers. This is the 10th year that Lisa has organized the Pulsera project. This is a great way to support people in developing countries, and the students love the colorful bracelets. We had 2 international trips during spring break. The Spanish teachers, Joan Greggy and Ellen Acuna, brought 25 students to Mexico for their biannual immersion trip, and 2 science teachers, Annette Arico and Angie Patel, brought 19 students to Costa Rica to assist in researching sea turtles. A special thank you to these 4 teachers who took on the difficult task of traveling internationally with students and gave up their spring breaks to do so. These are experiences that the students will never forget and has enriched their learning by applying what they have learned to the real world. Thank you to the physical welfare teachers and athletic trainers, Bob Fitcher and Christine Venz, for providing optional CPR and AED training to the staff. These are important and necessary skills to have, and we appreciate the fellow teachers sharing their expertise with us. Finally, I'd just like to say thank you to Member Aubert for her service and contribution to the LT community, and that's all I have. Thank you.
Thanks, Andrew.
Thank you.
That concludes our first public participation opportunity.
All right, great, thanks. Always so impressed by the incredible opportunities the teachers make possible for the students, so thank you. Now we will move on to our student representative report. Sophia.
Thank you. For athletics, girls water polo won against York by a score of 7-6. Badminton hosted their Orange Crush fundraiser to support Lymphoma and Leukemia Society. Badminton also got second place at their last tournament. Girls soccer won against Loyola, tied against Glenbrook South, and won against Lake Forest. Girls lacrosse hosted a fundraiser and raised over $2,200 for research at Lurie's Children's Hospital for their annual Pink Out game. Eurythmics is getting ready for their show on May 2nd, 3rd, and 4th. Tickets are out. For activities, PSI had their annual Easter basket fundraiser and created over 50 Easter baskets for Off the Street Club. Battle of the Books just had their last meeting of the school year with the senior send-off and new leadership being introduced for the upcoming school year. For the first time ever, the LTHS speech team competed in the first level of the national tournament and had many individuals place. Congrats to Marissa Lynn, London Shannon Muscolino, and Ava Armstrong. French Club is going on their annual field trip to the Melting Pot to try French cuisine. On Friday, all of the language and culture clubs gathered to host the Multicultural Fest, featuring various performances and activities. Baccalaureate is preparing their speeches and performances for their program on May 19th. NHS completed their week of service and made over 100 care packages for the homeless. Math team went to ISU for a competition and placed 15th with multiple individuals, duos, and teams placing. TAB went to Kansas City with multiple students winning individual awards and made program history with 4 superior awards. Menagerie won Best in Show and the Peacemaker Award and is finishing up the editing process. Model UN are preparing for their last conference. Irish Club had their first meeting. FHP practiced suturing at their latest meeting. Sustainability Club hosted their annual rummage sale. And chess team competed at the U.S. Chess Federation Championships in Baltimore and had a lot of events placed. Congrats to Francis C. for being named the national champion in the unrated category. Theater is hosting Tens by Teens from April 17th to the 20th and a 24-hour play fest on the 20th. Save Promise Club is getting ready for their annual Westchester Food Pantry fundraiser. GEMS went to the Women in Science Conference hosted by Argonne National Laboratory, and prom tickets are out, and the theme is Great Gatsby. It's been a busy April so far.
As always.
Very. Thank you so much. I appreciate that.
Thank you.
All right, next up, Dr. Waterman.
Thank you, President Gretsch. I'll just start with a brief reminder to the board that in your packet you'll find a memo that provides the monthly FOIA report, which includes all of the requests we've received since our last meeting in March. Then secondly, I just want to point out that last Tuesday evening, April 9th, the board hosted its next community chat. I want to thank Carrie Dillon and Elvia Nava for representing the board. We had a few community members show up to the event, and I would invite Carrie or Elvia to share any additional thoughts with the rest of the board on last Tuesday.
Sure. It was a beautiful evening, much like tonight. So as you can imagine, I think that hindered a little bit of our turnout. We had a couple of community members, and I would just continue to encourage people to come out. It's nicer too, though, when we do have those smaller gatherings. We can have more one-on-one interaction and a lot more intimate communication. But it's a great opportunity too to have like exchanges of ideas and just to hear and listen from some of our community members. So I would continue. My thought is we should continue to do it if we can, and encourage the community members to continue to come out.
Great. Elvia, any additional thoughts on that?
No, Carrie summed it up very nicely. Thank you.
Great. Okay, my next item, LT is currently in the middle of assessment season, as we know. So on Friday, all freshmen took the PSAT 8-9 at South Campus, and then today we had our sophomores taking the PSAT and our juniors took the SAT. Overall, this means about 3,000 assessments have been administered over the last few days, and it's interesting because I think assessment at the high school level can often come with a philosophical struggle, and we certainly don't ever want to have an education system where students are based solely on a test score, but we must recognize the importance of this in terms of the post-secondary opportunities that these assessments provide to our students, and then also the data that it provides schools as we measure our progress. So we always want to keep that in mind, and we want to balance that those two areas are both very important when we look at the assessments our students take. And then a big part of that is it just takes a ton of work and effort to administer 3,000 assessments. And I want to thank Christine Zeman, our coordinator of assessment and research, and her staff, our buildings and ground staff, and really anyone who proctored an exam, who monitored a hallway, checked in a student, prepared a room, or anything else that was necessary to pull this off. So thanks to everyone who is helping us make it through assessment season effectively. And then finally, always want to save the best for last. Tonight I'm excited to be able to recognize our latest Vita Plena Award recipient. This is for quarter 3. The Vita Plena Award has been presented by the superintendent to a deserving individual since the mid-1990s. This has generally been an award that's presented to someone who embodies the themes of inspiration, creativity, kindness, selflessness, and just overall someone who goes above and beyond in service to our school community. As we reflected and searched to honor a staff member with the Vita Plena Award for quarter 3, Yvette Herrera was a natural choice. So Yvette began with us in the role of South Campus main office receptionist for the 18-19 school year, and she transitioned to her current position as an administrative assistant role in the South Campus assistant principal's office that following school year. During her time at LT, she's been involved in supporting student activities as an advisor for both National Hispanic Institute as well as Latinos Juntos. She's also supported our community by serving as the interim liaison to our Hispanic community, as well as providing translation and interpretation services to assist our families as well. She is also very involved in storytelling through music and through the Mariachi Sereñas band that she is a member of. Her and her band have performed throughout the Chicagoland area, including at cultural events and professional sporting events. In fact, if you were paying attention, you noticed this was the quarter 3 award, even though it's quarter 4, because we were scheduled to honor Yvette back in March, but they had something way more important happening. Her and her band performed at the Chicago Bulls game the night of our last board meeting. So, and then they've also performed here as part of our Heritage Month Assembly as well. So I think most importantly, we're so proud to work with Yvette as she impacts our school community in so many ways. She really does embody what the Vita Plena Award is about, which is why we are honored to recognize here tonight. So Yvette, congratulations and thank you for all that you do.
Thank you, support.
Thank you.
Absolutely. So this is my loving mother. I wouldn't be the woman I am without her. And this is my little sister. So someone I looked up to, and hopefully someone that will follow her footsteps. So there we go. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
All right. Congratulations again, Yvette.
Thank you.
Have a good night.
Have a great night.
And that concludes my superintendent report for this evening.
Awesome. Those are the best ones. I love it. Well, the acknowledgements will continue because right now we'd like to acknowledge outgoing board member Donna Bear. Sorry. Now, unfortunately, Dawn can't be here tonight as she's traveling, but we, of course, are still eager to recognize her many contributions to D204. Dawn joined the board with several of us 3 years ago after serving 8 years on the D102 school board and shepherding her 3 daughters through LT. Her experience, her student-centric focus, and her attention to detail served all of us well. In particular, I really appreciate her work as president this past year, focusing on improved efficiencies in board governance and processes. On a personal note, you know, our paths likely wouldn't have crossed without our board work. And I really appreciate these last few years getting to know each other and sharing perspectives and celebrating the LT community that we both love. I know Dawn plans to tune in tonight, so please know how much we appreciate your service and that we all wish you and your family the very best in your next chapter. So I don't know if anybody else wants to add anything, but there is a formal recognition that we will walk through, if not.
Yeah, I'll say as just being somebody that's newer to the board, we had daughters similar age growing up, just crossed paths here and there. But I will say, just being on the board, as everybody here has done, she has gone out of her way to really help me to understand the process of the board and really get me up to speed. And I also would like to just commend her dedication to the LT community, to the board, and the selflessness in which she held herself.
And I would just add, I appreciate her collegialness that she's had within the board and trying to work towards agreements amongst all. But then also to her passion and wanting the board to have like that, to ensure that the board had that professional development and knowledge, and her passion in working through to get as many as possible to the III conference.
Yep.
III conference back in November, and her passion around that to ensure that we all were, you know, working to engage and then bring back our thoughts to the rest of the board on it to make the board stronger. So I do appreciate that from her.
And I appreciate all of the efforts that she gave and all the work that she put in, especially when you could count on her to always do a deep dive on the data. To the point where I was like, that's a lot of good points. So I think it was really great to have that, to have all the efforts that she put in, and I wish her the best.
How can I even top that? You guys kind of summed it up very nicely. I think I would just agree that, it's a volunteer position, and to have given up a lot of her time, and it takes away from family and takes away from work commitments, and to continually show up for that is tremendous. So again, best of luck in all future endeavors. She's probably got the world as her oyster at this point too, so that's great.
I just want to reiterate that as well.
Oh,
Sorry, go ahead, Albia.
Oh, sorry.
wait just a second.
Well, I just want to share a little anecdote. I probably wouldn't be on the board because actually when I moved into the community, Dawn is, she's sort of like a neighbor to me, and we met at a block party, and go figure, school education was how we kicked it off and met. So she actually recommended me to my first organization and committee that I joined with District 102 due to, her advice. And then our paths crossed again here at the board. So I just wanted to thank her for her dedication, being relentless at trying to keep the board together all the time in decision making, and just, all her hard work. So good luck to Dawn and her endeavors. And thank you.
Yeah, and I just wanted to jump in and reiterate everything that's been said. I've certainly had the chance to work with Dawn over the last 3 years while she's been a board member, but also well before that, during my time as principal. She's been an actively engaged parent here for a long time, and no one loves LT more, and no one wishes LT success more than Dawn, and I just appreciate all of her efforts, her time, her dedication, and certainly wish her husband Pat, her daughters Catherine, Julia, and Natalie all the best as they move on to a new chapter in their life.
Well, we're going to miss you, Dawn. So I'm sorry you're not here for this in person, but kick off with the formalities.
Resolution,
Yes. All right. Resolution Commendation of Services by Dawn Aubert. Whereas Dawn Aubert faithfully served as a member of the Board of Education since 2021, and during her tenure served as president of the board, as a member of the Parent-Teacher Advisory Behavioral Intervention Committee, and as a member of the LT Community Advisory Council. Whereas she has given generously of herself to the task of providing board governance and guidance to the Lyons Township High School community. And whereas she has unselfishly devoted her time and energies not only to her duties as members of the school board, but also her understanding and appreciation of public education in our American society. Now, therefore, be it resolved that the Board of Education of Lyons Township High School District 204 warmly expresses its gratitude and appreciation to Dawn Aubert, pays tribute to her leadership, abilities, and accomplishments, and wishes her continued success during the years ahead. Can I have a motion and a second to adopt this resolution as I have read it?
So moved.
Second. Roll call?
Member Alvarez?
Yes.
Member Beta Daniels?
Yes.
Member Dillon?
Yes.
Member Nava?
Aye.
Member Thomas?
Yes.
Member Gretsch?
Yes. All right. Okay, so now, moving on, matters pertaining to reorganization of the board. So we will begin with the acknowledgement of board president appointment per board policy 2110.
With the resignation of Dawn Albert, there is a vacancy in the position of board president. In accordance with board policy 2110, current board vice president Jill Gretsch will assume the position of board president for the remainder of Dawn Albert's term as board president.
Now we will conduct the election of the office of vice president. The chair will now entertain nominations for the vice president of the Board of Education to serve a term of office until April-May 2025.
I will move that Tim Alvarez be nominated to serve as Vice President of the Board of Education for a term of office until the next reorganization meeting of the board to be held following the April 2025 election.
Second.
Second? I move that, anybody else? I move that I move that nominations be closed and that Tim Alvarez be elected Vice President of the Board of Education for a term of office until the next reorganization meeting of the board to be held in April or May of 2025. Is there a second?
Second.
Thank you. Marilyn, will you please call the roll?
Member Vita Daniels?
Yes.
Member Dillon?
Yes.
Member Nava?
Aye.
Member Thomas?
Yes.
Member Alvarez?
Yes.
Member Gretsch?
Yes. All right, so next we'll conduct the election of the office of Secretary to the Board of Education. We'll now entertain nominations for the Secretary of the Board of Education to serve a term of office until April, May 2025.
I nominate Phil Daniels.
Is there a second?
Second.
I think I can move that nominations be closed and that Jill Vita Daniels be elected Secretary of the Board of Education for a term of office until the next reorganization meeting of the board to be held in April or May 2025. Is there a second?
Second.
Marilyn, will you please call the roll?
Member Dillon?
Yes.
Member Nava?
Member Nava?
Aye.
Member Thomas?
Yes.
Member Alvarez?
Yes.
Member Vita Daniels?
Yes.
Member Gretsch?
Yes. All right, we're officially reorged.
Good job.
Thank you, everybody. I really appreciate it. All right, so now moving on to unfinished business, per usual. So the first item is the second reading of the approval and consideration of the 2024 summer workshops. Scott Agering.
Thank you, President Gretsch. We are bringing forward for a second reading the workshops as discussed at our committee meeting. We are looking to do quite a bit this summer with many items aligned to our goals, including curriculum review and SEL and EL and our co-teaching and all sorts of other things related to new courses, updating courses, and just improving courses that are being changed due to AP and whatnot. So I'd be happy to answer any questions. There have been no changes since the last discussion. As I have mentioned, if other monies come available, we will, grant-wise, we will put them toward the amount that is requested for the board. But other than that, I'd be happy to answer any questions.
I mean, we talked about it a lot last time. I think in particular, the budgeting of it.
Yeah. And then also the breadth and scope of what we've got in front of us this time is like, you know, it's kind of monumental. And I really hope that, I know we always say we don't ever end up using all of the funds that are allocated towards it because just for various reasons. But if we can get as many of our staff to be engaged and involved, that would be tremendous. So I continue to promote and ask and get people to sign up and be a part of these workshops. That would be great.
Cool. So just one question. So,
Sure.
well, I know we're talking, this is all summer workshops, but how does like PLC kind of activities work in, like if a teacher wants to have some professional learning opportunities that have a fee? How is that like figured into?
So like if they want to go get training?
Right.
Yeah,
on
that
specific areas
goes
that
through our budgets.
don't go into the.
Yeah, that goes through our
summer.
regular budget. So we're sending people to AP training in the summer. We have people that we're sending to incubator in the summer. We have we're paying for some folks to go down to Indiana University to continue partnerships on dual credit and whatnot. So we budget that as a part of our regular budgets.
So that's not what we're looking at.
No, they're not paid an hourly rate. Because this is something earmarked in the contract, that's why we bring it forward.
Okay.
And then do you have what you need for that as far as
Mhm.
like the budget goes?
Yeah, we also use grant money for some of that. We also have our regular budgets. And we, try to make sure we're going to be sending some folks to a conference for technology. So there's all those sorts of things are part of our regular business operations.
And do some of those things take place too throughout the school year?
Mhm.
Okay.
A lot of it doesn't.
We definitely prefer it in the summer because we don't need subs and people
Right,
can
right.
go a little longer and think, really do some planning. But
Sure.
yeah,
But with enough notice, I suppose, too, it could be as best planned as possible
Sure.
for that. Okay.
Well, then, can we have a motion to approve the second reading of the 2024 summer workshops as presented?
Second.
All right, can we call the roll?
Member Nava?
Aye.
Member Thomas?
Yes.
Member Alvarez?
Yes.
Member Vita Daniels?
Yes.
Member Dillon?
Yes.
Member Gretch?
Yes. All right. Our next unfinished business item is the second reading of the consideration of approval of the additional textbooks and instructional materials. So Scott.
thank you again. Again, like the previous item, we have no changes from the presentation 2 weeks ago. The textbooks up for adoption have been here in the boardroom for the last 2 weeks. We've had no visitors to take a look at them, so take that as a good sign,
Yeah.
certainly. That being said, there is a wide range of textbook changes, and as we discussed 2 weeks ago, we have a couple of software-related purchases, again, that are really helping to enhance specific programs, in particular our life program. Just as a reminder, we normally don't have a whole lot of additions this time around, but we have been through the curriculum review process, giving teams a little bit longer to make some decisions and look to see that things are consistent across multiple courses. So, for example, English 2 is trying to mirror, the accelerated is trying to mirror honors as much as possible. English 2 Excel has had the Norton Anthology for a number of years. 2 Honors is adding it this year. And then Chronicle of a Death Foretold has been with honors, and that will now be a part also of Excel. So some similarities there, and then obviously some other readings that are tailored to the individual courses. So with that, I'd be happy to answer any questions that you might have, and request that you approve the books as presented.
Can I just have a quick question, regarding the Excel 2 English book. I know that, they have one book in common with the English Excel and the honors, by the author of Cervantes, which is like a fiction book, and then they have another book that I noticed in the honors 2, that is not a choice for the English 2 Excel. So English 2 Excel has the one and only, and then English 2 Honors has 2 books. I was just curious, just curious to know why the second book that is not offered to English 2 Excel wouldn't be an option for the English 2 Excel that is to Honors. Is it because it's nonfiction? Or I'm just curious to know about that.
English 2 Excel also has Lord of the Flies, which is not in English 2 Honors. So they both read 2 books and an anthology in a 1-semester course.
So they just have it's a different option, but it's
Correct.
not on the list because we're all set.
We're not making any changes.
Yeah.
Lord of the Flies has been a part of 2 Accelerated for well over 30 years.
All right.
Does that make sense, Elvia? So it's because it's not new.
That's why we didn't see the 2 books.
Right, right.
Because
Yeah,
it's,
they have the 2 books, it's just the one is not new, it's been in the curriculum for a while.
Okay, so So English to Excel has that book as an option as well, or it doesn't, but there's no change, it's been like that for years? I just want to clarify.
English 2 Accelerated has the Norton Anthology, Lord of the Flies, and Chronicle of a Death Foretold.
Oh, it was too advanced for the English to Excel. Did I capture that right?
It's not about being advanced, it's just 3 books that are, 2 of them are the same as 2 honors, and 1 of them is different. And none of those are being changed. Lord of the Flies is in 2 Accelerated and has been in 2 Accelerated for a very long time.
And the other book, the one that stands out only for the English to honors, that book has never been part of the English to Excel, is that correct?
Correct.
Why not?
Because those teachers chose a different book. They chose How Much of These Hills is Gold because it fit better with what they were trying to do on an honors curriculum as opposed to an accelerated curriculum.
Are there any non-fictional books part of the English to Excel book?
Yeah, the Norton Anthology of Nonfiction.
Okay. All right, thank you. Appreciate that.
Sure.
Did anybody else have any other?
Questions? All right. Then can we have a motion to approve the second reading of the additional textbooks and instructional materials as presented?
Oh, second.
Yeah.
Carrie can do it. It's all yours.
Between the two of you. All right, can we call the roll, please?
Member Thomas?
Yes.
Member Alvarez?
Yes.
Member Rita Daniels?
Yes.
Member Dillon?
Yes.
Member Nava?
Yes.
Member Gretsch?
Yes. All right, great. So then, with that, we'll move on to new business action items. And we'll begin with the consideration and approval of the intergovernmental agreement for reciprocal reporting, digital image access, and the school resource officer between the Village of LaGrange and the Board of Education of Lyons Township High School District 204. Dr. Waterman.
Yeah, so I'll kind of talk about both of these agreements together. I'm really asking the board tonight to consider both an agreement with the Village of LaGrange, but also with the Village of Western Springs. As I said 2 weeks ago, we enjoy an amazing relationship with the police departments in both LaGrange and Western Springs. Prior to this year, we've had some basic memo agreements in place for the SRO, but have really not taken the time to develop comprehensive agreements related to reciprocal reporting, to digital image access, and everything that goes into that. And so, as the board knows, this has really been a significant project over about the last 9 months in working with both police chiefs, both village administrators, and legal counsel from all 3 entities to arrive at this point. And we feel comfortable with both agreements, with the exhibits contained within, everything related to how we report. I mean, we come across situations where we work with the police on a wide variety of scenarios. So we rely on them to help us keep our campuses safe. And so I really feel like these agreements honor that commitment and honor the relationship we have with each, both Western Springs and LaGrange.
And I would just ask, this is an annual contract, so we would be renewing it. It's for 1 year?
No, so this is an evergreen agreement. So
It is?
yeah, so this is an
I
evergreen
guess-
agreement. So
okay.
once we get approval, if either party has changes they would want to make, then we would come back to it and modify it based upon that. But this is an evergreen, so we don't need to do this every year.
Okay. I thought maybe that we were.
Yeah, we could if we come across things that we want to change. Absolutely, we have the agreement covers that, and same on their side as well.
And I think it's for me, just wanting to know that it's still an effective agreement.
Absolutely.
And that the parameters around what we've outlined in here are being upheld on both ends, and that, we're keeping tabs on that, and that you'll inform us if something should change or something's different.
100%.
Because I think it's just really important as we kind of go through and navigate waters of
Huge, yeah.
of what these types of relationships look like, and I know they're probably different at different schools,
Mhm.
that we're being in tune with the needs that our students have here, and we reflect that in what our expectations are of that contract.
Yeah, and that's something that, we could annually at least bring this, I could bring just a report or an update to the board on how the agreement is working, and, but certainly if we came across at any point any concerns or, not even concerns, but just changes we are interested in making, we have the ability to do that.
Absolutely, because I know there's new research that comes out all the time about what are best practices,
Sure.
how things should be done, and so I just want to keep a pulse on that and continue to reevaluate that. So if you do bring that back to us, that would be really helpful.
Yep.
Maybe it's part of another bigger presentation throughout the year, but it'd be great to have a pulse on that.
Yep, we can do that.
I would just second what Carrie said. I would love to have this be revisited, because there's so much changing and everything like that. So to have this maybe, I know we've been working on a calendar to have continuity and that kind
Right.
of thing for board review, to have it be something, because, 1 year could turn into 3 years, and we're like, can we just talk about that?
Yeah.
Just to have something for that, I would second that.
Okay.
I think that would be really important.
Mhm.
I agree. I think that's great. Even if it doesn't have, just putting that marker in the sand, and even if there are
Maybe there's
years
no
we don't
concerns.
have any
Right.
changes,
Right.
at least we have made the conscious effort to go back to the documentation and just make sure. And then it provides the opportunity for flexibility, so.
Right.
Yeah.
And with new board members coming in too. I
Absolutely.
think that's really thoughtful to make
Mhm.
sure that
Yeah.
you're not caught off guard or something.
Yep, that's great.
I agree. I think, I know there's a lot of work from your team, from the police departments, and from our attorneys to navigate, negotiate, massage that agreement. And I know there was a lot of work going into that, and I appreciate everyone's flexibility, because I think, again, to highlight what's been said, school safety has evolved over the last 10 years. Our building, our school, our communities have all evolved. So I think
Yeah.
it's important that we keep evolving with it and monitoring what these agreements mean.
Yep.
But very appreciative of all the work that went into to make
And,
this
and
happen.
how they look in practice as well, right? Yeah, no, absolutely.
Well, and so grateful for the really positive and strong relationship
Yeah.
we have with our local police departments too. By all accounts, it's very healthy, very positive, and allows us to do work like this
Right.
and in topics that are tough.
Yeah, yeah.
So thank you.
Yeah, I mean, as I said, kudos to Heather Brickman from Hodges Louise, Dr. Owens for being a part of this as well, so.
All right. So can we have a motion to approve the intergovernmental agreement for reciprocal reporting, digital image access, and the school resource officer between the Village of LaGrange and the Board of Education of Lyons Township High School, District 204, as presented?
So moved.
Second.
Marilyn, can we call the roll, please?
Member Alvarez?
Yes.
Member Vita Daniels?
Yes.
Member Dillon?
Yes.
Member Nava?
Yes.
Member Thomas?
Yes.
Member Gretsch?
Yes. All right, so we do this again, with the consideration and approval of the intergovernmental agreement for reciprocal reporting, digital image access, and the school resource officer between the Village of Western Springs and the Board of Education of Lyons Township High School, District 204. Can we have a motion?
So moved.
Second. Sorry.
Thank you. Call the roll.
Member Vita Daniels?
Yes.
Member Dillon?
Yes.
Member Nava?
Yes.
Member Thomas?
Yes.
Member Alvarez?
Yes.
Member Gretsch?
Yes. All right. Thank you, everybody. All right, and next is the consideration of approval of the amended 2024 school calendar. Scott Eckerding.
Thank you, good. We are looking to make some fairly minor changes to the calendar for next year. One, to update based on some school code statute with the election day. We're not allowed to have class on election day. In the past, we've been able to use that as an e-learning day, but that's not an option for this 2024 election. So we will need that as a school holiday on November 5th. And as much as we all really enjoyed the Friday before President's Day weekend, that will now be an attendance day. The other change really has to do with making the most of our teacher work time and teacher institute time. We've always had a work day at the end of the year after the last day of students, and an institute day the first day before second semester. We'd like to switch those. There is a desire to spend more of that time right before the semester starts, actually getting the classrooms ready rather than learning. We would then add an institute day in March to go along with the institute day that's already in February and October, and then the opening institute. So we feel making this change will allow our teachers to have more useful and focused learning time and feel better prepared to start the second semester. So those are our changes, and they would obviously go into effect for this fall. And we have posted on the website, have had no, I've gotten no direct questions or any questions. And we, as you heard earlier, we shared this with our faculty association as well for their input.
All right. Anyone? I know we had a good chat about it a couple weeks ago. All right.
Sounds good.
Can we have a motion to approve the amended 2024 school calendar as presented?
So moved.
Second. Can we call the roll, please?
Member Dillon?
Yes.
Member Nava?
Yes.
Member Thomas?
Yes.
Member Alvarez?
Yes.
Member Vita Daniels?
Yes.
Member Gretsch?
Yes. That concludes our new business. So we've now reached the consent agenda portion of our meeting, which includes the following items. Payment of bills and financial statements for LTHS and LADSI for the month of March 2024. Human resources items for LTHS and LADSI. The approval of the appointment of Dr. Waterman to DAOES Board of Directors for 2024-25. Senior Honors Day declaration. Review and approval of the meeting minutes, open and closed session. Overnight student travel. Can we have a motion to approve the consent agenda as presented?
So moved. Second.
Marilyn, will you please call the roll?
Member Nava?
Member Nava?
Yes.
Member Thomas?
Yes.
Member Alvarez?
Yes.
Member Vita Daniels?
Yes.
Member Dillon?
Yes.
Member Gretsch?
Yes. Okay. And our final agenda item is the second opportunity for audience members to give comments or feedback to the Board of Education. Marilyn, do we have anyone signed up?
No.
We don't. All right. Well, may I please have a motion to adjourn the meeting?
So moved.
15 minutes.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All right, our meeting's adjourned. Thanks, everybody.
Bye, Albia.